The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, guys, we are live once again. We're live a little bit earlier than usual because I have some things to tend to later on tonight. So I wanted to come get this out the way. Just give you guys my 2 hours, say what I need to say on this subject, and then dip on out of here because I'm trying not to let boxing make me a cynical person, but I'm very reserved and cynical when it comes to big fight negotiations in boxing. And so the other night when Jaron Ennis and Vergil Ortiz did their face off, of course, as a fan, I was very excited. Of course, as a fan, I got really I was happy because I was okay, maybe these guys will fight. I've been talking about this potential matchup on YouTube for 4 years now. So in my mind, the fight's been marinated. We've been talking about it. We know what Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis bring to the table as far as, the caliber of fighters they are. But, there was that part of me that was like, BT, neither one of them has a title. Boots still hasn't beaten anybody yet. So there's plenty of ways that each side could use to, push this fight out a little more, marinate it a little more. So, I still didn't think it was going to happen next, but it makes a lot of sense to happen next. But of course, it didn't even take 2 hours. You have Vergil Ortiz's team talking about, we want 10 million. Vergil got to be the A side, all that stuff. You got Eddie Hearn saying that Boots has plenty of options outside of Vergil. He's talking about we might fight, he's mentioning Danny Garcia as an option. So the posturing has begun. And much to my, what I thought, Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis' teams will find a way to fumble this fight and not make it happen. And really and truthfully, that's why, not to be disrespectful, but to just be honest, that's why Golden Boy and Matchroom will always be the number 3 and 4 best promoters in boxing of the Big Four. They'll never be Top Rank. They'll never be PBC. PBC and Top Rank will hold down number 1 and number 2, but Golden Boy and Matchroom, in terms of the landscape of boxing, will always be number 3 and number 4, and it is what it is there. But guys, we got a great live plan for you. Before I get to all the things going on with Vergil and Boots, let's do some quick housekeeping. Let's do some quick housekeeping. Okay. First and foremost, if you want to, if you like True School Sports, if you like these lives, if you like what I got going on here, and you want to support the channel beyond just super chatting, you can donate right there. The Cash App is there. Money sign Jessica from Dania, and or right here, PayPal, True School Sports 2012 at gmail.com. It could be $1, $1,000, $5, $50. It'll all be appreciated, and it'll definitely be put to good use because we got a big 2026 plan for the channel. So we got that. Also, I know a lot of you guys don't have social media. Some of you guys don't have social media. Some of you guys aren't on Twitter. Some of you guys aren't on Facebook. Some of you guys aren't even on Instagram. So if you want to get a hold of me and outside of YouTube, I'm putting the number right there. That's my Google Voice number. I use it for business purposes, but I'm gonna use it for the True School Sports community to connect more with my audience. If you want to text me, talk some boxing, maybe give me some video ideas, maybe talk some shit about life, that's my number right there. A couple people have already texted the number, and I've been texting back and forth with them, so it's a good way to definitely stay in contact with you guys and grow my audience here. I got multiple phone numbers, so it's not my actual phone number, but it's a phone number that I do use. So yeah, go ahead and text me there, and we'll definitely chop it up. But guys, that being said, let me take some time to acknowledge the fine folks that are already here, commenting and making their presence felt. So shout out to you guys here. Make sure you smash that like button. We got my main man, Brandon D. Hooker, in the building. He says, I'm tuning in, BT. My 2 cents is that I would rather see Ortiz versus Charlo. I ain't mad at Ortiz versus Charlo. Charlo needs to prove himself. That's a Texas fight. Charlo, I don't know. Errol Spence has still fought. I'm pretty sure Errol Spence and Charlo have both been out the ring for about the same amount of time. I wouldn't mind that fight, but it's not what we need. Vergil Ortiz is proving himself to be a top creme de la creme fighter. Charlo, Boots as well. I feel like they should just run it right now. We all know that these are two of the best 54-pounders in the world with or without a title. So run it right now. Cinco de Mayo in Houston. You know what? If they could do Vergil and Charlo, Cinco de Mayo in Houston, then obviously it could be very commercially successful. Shout out to Dave Esther. He says, what Golden Boy should do is then let Charles Conwell get a shot at Boots if Vergil is going to run off and cherry pick Spence. That was a fight that they were looking at doing at one point. Obviously, Conwell has lost, and Conwell's stock is down. So yeah, why not? Because most people would view it with Conwell coming off of a loss to Jorge Sebastian, whatever his name is, the guy that lost to Xander. They'll look at it as, you know, a cherry pick. So I ain't mad at it. Tycho TV, what's up? Total knowledge says, yup, Ortiz said Spence is a dream fight, and I see that happening next, not Boots. Listen, man, how the hell, what year is it, guys? What year is it? We talking about Errol Spence. Listen, Errol Spence does not want to box. Errol Spence does not want to fight. Every time one of Errol Spence's fans get on Instagram or Twitter and they ask him, hey, when you come back, he gives his own fans an attitude. I don't understand how Errol Spence became relevant all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. A-Book says, I'm so glad this is not starting at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, man. It's like, I'm trying to get better at that. I'm a night owl, so it's good, but I'm trying to like really be more convenient for the East Coast audience, because I know the West Coast audience don't matter. Like if I go live at 11 here, it's gonna be 8 over there. But I'm trying to accommodate my East Coast people more. You know, good to see you here. BT Tiger looked spectacular last week. I like how 147 is shaping up. Johnson and Polanco will be a tough fight. I was very happy for Tiger Johnson. I picked Tiger Johnson. Good for him. Olympian, talented fighter. Always good to see young fighters have the breakout fight. So Polanco versus Tiger is looking at one of the really good fights for 2026 at 147 for sure. Both sides are doing duck talk. They are. A lot of people, I've already gotten a lot of comments from the Boots Brigade, the Boots fans, and they're like, yo, when are you going to bring up Vergil's team, Duck and Boots, right? And it's like, I'm going to bring that up, but I'm also going to bring up Eddie Hearn talking about wanting to fight Danny Garcia. we're gonna bring up everything, because I feel like Jaron Ennis and Vergil Ortiz for a while, they've been like, not them per se, but the people in and around them, they're moving them like they're some divas. And I feel like these guys are good enough. You got their creme de la creme talents. You don't need to be doing all this ducking and dodging unless they know something I don't, unless they feel like Jaron Ennis isn't a creme de la creme talent, and unless they feel like Vergil Ortiz isn't a creme de la creme talent. So shit, I'm with you, champ. Rick Marigan, Oscar, and Robert Garcia don't want the fight. Just listen to them speak and watch what they tweet. Oh no, trust me, I'm listening. I'm listening to everything. Look, I even got a video right here. Look, this right here. This is Mikey Garcia and Robert Garcia talking about the Boots Vergil fight. I'm not sure how long ago this was, but it seems pretty recent. Maybe it's from today, maybe it's from like a week or two ago. But this is Vergil. This is Robert Garcia and Mikey Garcia talking about Boots Vergil. Listen up and listen up real good. Smash that like button.
The next one up, everyone's talking about Boots because they faced off. What do you think about the Boots fight with Vergil?
Well, look, Boots is as of now, as it looks, they're ready. You know, I always said, you know, he wants to know us, because that's what I was told, and but he went in the ring. He said, yes, let's do it. So there's something that could also happen. Boots is young. He's also, you know, he just made his first fight at 154, so he's there already. It's not like he's going to go anywhere after that.
As a fighter, Vergil and Boots both want it next.
Of course, but also it's a business.
Yes. In as a manager, promoter, you know, network, all the business behind it, and that can wait, you know, a fight or two. That can wait 1 or 2 fights.
It could actually
build that
turn into a bigger fight.
That could turn, yeah, exactly. We could build that to a much bigger fight, where right now it's big. It could be, you know, twice as big, or even bigger.
Really can.
And in the meantime, they can fight, you know, 1 or 2 fights, you know, each. Like we mentioned, the Errol Spence fight for Vergil next, or another one of the same, you know, kind, and then build up to do the fight with Boots Ennis. I think that's probably the best business, you know, approach.
So there you go. That's apparently that's from today. So that right there is pretty recent from the Vergil Ortiz camp. You know, I feel like, you know what, I'll be fair here, because Obviously, Eddie Hearn has said things that I think are absolutely retarded when it comes to this fight, and it not happening next. But I'm not taking sides. I'm just telling you what I've seen. And if there's anything I'm missing, feel free to let me know in the comments if there's anything I'm missing. But from what I'm seeing, from what I've seen today, I've only seen Eddie Hearn talk some bullshit about the fight not happening next. All right. I haven't really seen Boots or his dad in this particular case saying anything about delaying the fight or wanting to fight like Danny Garcia. It's only been Eddie Hearn. But with Vergil, I've heard Vergil talk about wanting to fight Spence. I've seen Rick Marigan talking about wanting 10 million. I've seen Oscar De La Hoya saying that Vergil needs to be the A side for the fight to happen. So, yes, both sides are posturing. Both sides are doing duck talk. But I feel like from what I'm seeing, the Golden Boy side is a bit more organized with their posturing at the moment. And I don't like it. I don't like it. And you know what? I'm going to use that to pivot into my first talking point live. Make sure you guys smash that like button. It's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. This is True School Live. Now, listen. I'm going to go to screen share too while we're at it. Vergil Ortiz's team, Rick Marigan, he's saying he needs $10 million. Eddie Hearn is saying that Danny Garcia's eyes for Boots. And this is why. This is exactly why, guys. Matchroom Boxing and Golden Boy Promotions will never be the best promotional companies in boxing. Straight up. Not saying they're not good, because they are good, but they're not PBC. They're not top ranked, and that's what it is. But let me see. We'll go to share screen. So let's go to screen share, because there's quite a lot to get to. Make sure you guys leave your comments down below. I will get to them after I run through this talking point, because this needs to be really measured and calculated. So and the box world needs to hear this, all right? Because I'm not overly pro Boots or overly pro Vergil. I don't got a dog in the race, to tell you the truth. So let me see where we at, because I got all my talking points organized here, or not organized, but I got them here. Let me see. Where's the one with Rick Marigan? So look, we'll start here. We'll start with good old Rick Marigan, Mr. 559, So Rick Marigan goes on Instagram, and for those of you who don't know, Rick Marigan is the manager of Vergil Ortiz. Rick Marigan also was the manager of Jose Ramirez at one point in time. And, funny enough, Rick Marigan blocked me on Instagram. So I don't get to see Rick's stuff on Instagram, because he blocked me on Instagram a while ago, because I was going off about Jose Ramirez ducking smoke, because he was hiding Ramirez away from a lot of smoke, 2022 back then. But nonetheless, I digress. He said, look, don't send shit our way unless it has 7 zeros on it, or it won't even get looked at. So essentially, what Rick Marigan is saying is that in order for him to listen to a Vergil Ortiz offer, to a Jaron Ennis offer for Vergil Ortiz, we need to be talking about $10 million. Now, look, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to overreact to him saying this. This is just him playing the high-low game. He's trying to figure out, what the market is, what he's trying to, get the powers that be to probably meet somewhere in the middle at a number that he feels is more feasible for his fighter, Vergil Ortiz, right? And your job as a manager is to secure the best deals of interest for your fighter. So look, I can't get mad at him for exploring that. But when you factor in that, this is a fight that's been talked about for almost 5 years now. And yes, guys, it has been 5 years, because I remember as early as 2021, I was talking about Vergil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis. And these guys have proven who they are throughout the years, and people want to see them fight. They're now, like right now, Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis, they're not the new kids on the block no more. They're not the new hot young flavor of the month in boxing no more. They're in their prime. It's about that time to step up and show who's who. So Vergil Ortiz is going to be a superstar, then he's going to have this kind of fight to show it. If Jaron Ennis is going to be a superstar, he's going to have this fight to show it. And the beautiful thing is, if they were to fight and it was actually a great fight, you could have the possibility for a rematch with more eyeballs, more attention, with both guys' profile being enhanced. So it's not a good look at all, because, according to Eddie Hearn, right, they've already signed their part of the deal, which if it is true, and now you have Golden Boy and Rick posturing and do this, it makes them look bad, right? Makes them look really, really bad. But we shall see what happens, right? So that's what's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation, because I don't want to let Boots off the hook either, right? And let me get out this picture because I actually have the article right here. All right, I'm not letting Boots I'm not letting him off the hook either, because Eddie Hearn said that Jaron Ennis has options beyond just Vergil Ortiz. You understand? He's got more than just Vergil Ortiz. Eddie Hearn said right here that there's other options. Where is it? So he's got it right here. Yeah, he mentioned. So he mentioned obviously Xander Zayas, but that's not really possible because Xander Zayas is fighting Abbas Barrow in a unification fight, which I'll get into later on because that directly ties to this whole situation. Then you got Sebastian Fundora, which, Fundora will not fight Boots, because if Fundora fights either one of these two, it's going to be Vergil Ortiz, because Vergil Ortiz is the WBC interim champion. Hold on. My bad. I'm reading the wrong part of the article. Hold on, guys. Where is it? So, yeah, he said, look, Murtazaliev, Abbas Barrow, Xander, Charlo, them kind of guys. He even mentioned Danny Garcia. Like, he mentioned Danny Garcia right here as a potential opponent, which I'll tell you this right now. If he were to fight Danny Garcia, if he were to fight Danny Garcia, and I'm talking about Boots Ennis, that would just be diabolical. Like, Danny Garcia is 36. Danny Garcia's heart hasn't been in boxing for years now. I don't think it's realistic unless you offer Danny Garcia a crazy number that he can't refuse. I don't see how Danny Garcia happens next. You understand? But the fact that he's talking about other options, like, now we don't want to hear, like, this thing has reached a stage. We don't need to hear about other options. Like, these guys are proving who they are. The whole division is tied up. Bakram Murtazaliev, y'all don't want to fight Bakram Murtazaliev because Bakram Murtazaliev, he doesn't bring enough money to the table, and he's actually dangerous and he's actually good, right? So y'all don't want to go fight Bakram. He's supposed to fight Josh Kelly. He's out the equation. Y'all can't fight Xander or Abbas Barrow because they're not wasting time. They're getting right to the smoke into unification fight, behaving like real champions. Then you got Fundora, who, like I said, who knows what he's gonna do. So right now, when we look at the best fight, the most lucrative fight, it's these two. And the thing with this division is that both these guys are so highly regarded by the boxing fans and the world in general that the perception is that with or without the title, these are actually the two best 154 pounders in the game right now. So with that being said, and with that firmly being established here on True School Sports, we don't gotta waste time. We don't gotta do any of that when it comes to Jaron Ennis. But that's the Jaron Ennis side of things. He's got options. He's got Danny Garcia. He's got Jermell Charlo. He's got them guys. We'll see what they do. I'll tell you guys in a second what I think is going to happen when I get to my next talking point. But to finish my thoughts on this talking point, getting back to Vergil, your boy Rick Morrigan, he also mentioned Errol Spence Jr., which I thought was crazy. Like, how are we in 2025 when we're talking about Errol Spence? Errol Spence does not want to box. He doesn't want to box. He's disinterested in it. He doesn't care anymore. He got what he needed out the sport. God bless him. He got a beautiful family. He got a beautiful house. He lives a great life. He does not want smoke with no young, hungry lions. Okay? I don't care. We're talking about Boots or Vergil. Because I'll tell you this, if Errol Spence really wanted to smoke with Jaron Ennis, he would have been fought him. Because if you remember correctly, Jaron Ennis was Errol Spence's IBF mandatory challenger before the Crawford fight. So shit, he could have fought Boots. If he really wanted that smoke, he could have got it already. And hell, even without the title, even without the mandatory, I'm sure if Errol Spence said, "Hey, I want to fight Boots," Boots and the team would have obliged that. He's a big name. We all know Errol Spence is a big star of the sport. But here's what Morrigan said. He said, and I quote, "I think Ortiz versus Spence at Cowboy Stadium would be the biggest all-Texas matchup in history. Charlo versus Boots as the co-main, and the winners fight each other. Just might be fire. Makes sense. Charlo and Boots both turned down Vergil Ortiz." So there you go. Rick Morrigan's taking a bit of a dig, and he's trying to belittle Boots by saying he should be in the co-main, be on the undercard of Vergil Ortiz. Now look, I'll tell you this. I've been criticized many times on this channel for being a quote unquote Jaron Ennis hater. And I'm not a hater. I call it how I see it. Jaron Ennis is not no damn undercard fighter. I'm sorry, he's not. He's a main event fighter. So the fact that Marie would even mention something like this is disrespectful, and that's never gonna happen in a million years. So yeah, man, it's just posturing. It's a lot of posturing from both teams. I hate to see it. I don't like it. And to piggyback off what Steve Kim tweeted right here, shout out to Steve Kim. Some of y'all love him, some of y'all hate him, but y'all listen to him. He's a notable voice in this boxing game. Steve Kim said this. He said, and I quote, "The Zone wants to really make the ultimate subscription worthwhile, if that's even possible. Make fights like Ortiz Ennis. Tell both Golden Boy and Matchroom neither are getting dates and money from us in regards to the two guys. This fight or nothing." But yeah, that probably won't happen because it's screw the fans as always in boxing. Now look, Steve Kim brings up a very interesting, very salient point, because really and truthfully, when you get to the nitty gritty of it, unless like the networks and the platforms control boxing, the promoters don't have any power in this game without the networks, without the money that the networks are giving them, right? So the Zone is really the one that's controlling the ship. And if the Zone has any dignity and you know, if they're really about quality control, they would say, you know what? We don't want to see Jaron Ennis versus Pavel Soslin. We don't want to see Vergil Ortiz versus Errol Spence. Nah, to hell with all that. We're here for fights that mean something to the boxing consumers and the boxing public. And you're going to make Vergil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis, or we're going to cut your dates down. Golden Boy, you're not going to get a chance to do these bullshit Thursday night cards in Indio, California at Fantasy Springs. Nope, that gets cut in half. Matchroom Boxing. Oh, you want to keep putting Dave Allen in the main event? Nope, can't do that no more. You know, so I feel like that's what needs to happen. But like Steve Kim said, it probably won't, because you know, there's no really quality control people when it comes to the powers that be in boxing television and boxing programming. So that's where we're at. Vergil Ortiz wants 10 million, or not Vergil. Rick Morrigan says Vergil Ortiz needs 10 million. Oscar La Hoya says that Vergil needs to be the A side. Eddie Hearn is saying that Jaron Ennis has other options apart from Vergil Ortiz, and it looks like both parties involved are going to go ahead and look to explore said option. So that's where I stand on that. And I'll end that talking point on that note. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's doing having a great start to the week. Let me see. Let me go all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. So MEZBX says, and I quote, "Ellie Sekback is a fucking cornball." Now look, you said it, not me, champ. I got respect for Ellie, but you know, Ellie is Ellie. Boots versus Charlo. Then listen, if they're gonna not fight each other, which I think is terrible, I would say, you know, if Vergil Ortiz is gonna go fight Errol Spence, then I feel like Charlo should fight Boots, but they should be on separate cards. I think it's disrespectful to Jaron Ennis, who has shown that he's one of the most skilled fighters in boxing today. I think it's disrespectful to him, who has established himself as a solidified main event fighter, to be on the undercard of anybody in his weight class. So I feel like, you know what? Let him fight in Philly, or let him fight in Vegas. Maybe do it somewhere in Vegas. I think it's a great fight. You know, Charlo's a name. People know that he was undisputed. He fought Canelo. He's got a profile. He's trying to get back in the fold and let the world know that he's still a threat in this 154-pound division. So I don't necessarily want to see it, but I guess I'd have to give it a pass. But really and truthfully, right now we're at a stage where it needs to be Vergil versus Boots right now. You understand? A Buck 50 says, Dan Raphael, we'll see if a deal is actually concluded. But per source, Golden Boy is seeking to put a hold on the MGM Grand Garden Arena or T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas on March 28th for Ortiz versus Ennis. Not interestingly enough, and you know what? I'll get back to everybody's comments. I know I got a lot of them. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna pivot back to the comments, but I'm gonna use this to pivot into my other talking point, because it actually falls right in line with what I want to say. All right. Where is it? So Rafael mentioned that they're trying to get the venue on hold for Boots versus Ennis. I don't. If that's the case, if March 28th is what Golden Boy is trying to get on hold, I don't think it's going to be for Boots versus Vergil. I think it's going to be for Vergil versus Fundora, because if they don't fight next, and I was told to make this video by someone on Twitter, so shout out to the guy that tweeted me this, because I had a whole tweet based on this. If they don't fight next, I think Jaron Ennis is going to fight Pavel Soslin, the number 2 ranked WBA contender from Russia. I think he's like 12-0. He just fought a couple days ago. He won. He's going to fight him. Everyone's going to say, who the fuck is Pavel Soslin, right? They're going to say, who is this guy? I never heard of this guy in my life. And then, everyone from Philadelphia is going to watch like 2 clips of him, and then we're going to see videos saying, nah, if you ain't seen Pavel Soslin, you don't know boxing. He's underrated, right? We're going to get Damage Control from Philadelphia and everybody over there, right? He's going to fight him, stay busy. And the thing is, too, Pavel Soslin probably wouldn't be a lot of money. So, Eddie Hearn, we saw Eddie Hearn. He paid Luma a little $250,000, and that's what it is. You don't have to pay too much for Pavel Soslin. He might be able to get Pavel to fight Boots for even less than that. So, shit, that's what's going to happen next if they don't fight. And then I think Vergil is going to fight Sebastian Fundora for the world title. Yeah, I think, Vergil Ortiz hasn't been a champion. They say for this Vergil Ortiz Boots Ennis fight that it has to be for a world title in order for it to mean something, right? Like a world title is going to make this fight that much bigger. Technically, right, if you want to be technical about it, and I know people don't respect the IBO title, but Boots did win the IBO title his last fight against Usima Lima. Would the WBC title being on the line for the fight be any different than the IBO title being on the line? Like, it's not going to make it that much bigger. Vergil Ortiz is who he is at this stage of his career. He's done a solid job selling in his home state, but he hasn't really shown that he can sell beyond Texas. Same thing for Boots. Boots has shown that he can sell in a solid way in Philadelphia most of the time, right? But he hasn't shown that he can be a draw in Vegas yet. So they're both the same commercially, in my opinion. They're both the same commercially. So you know what? I don't understand why there's all this posturing going on. But I think, you know what? Fundora versus Vergil, I think could be a fight that happens. Now, look, it is the MGM Grand. The MGM Grand is only reserved for the biggest and best fights in boxing. Now, I don't think Vergil versus Fundora would qualify as that. But if they're not going to fight each other next, with this being Vergil Ortiz's chance to fight for a world title, with all the hype Vergil's built all these years, if he's fighting a guy like Fundora who's also 6'6", and people are going to say, damn, he's fighting this big old giraffe with boxing gloves, it might actually sell well. But I don't know if it's MGM. So maybe March is going to be when it happens. We'll see. But I don't think so. I don't think so. You know what? And we'll go to screen share because I want to really get this off. So if they don't fight each other next, I think Boots inevitably winds up fighting Pavel Soslin, and I think Vergil Ortiz winds up fighting Sebastian Fundora. So yeah, this is my tweet last night in and around this time. I said it right here. I said that these will be your next 2 fights when they inevitably don't get the deal done for this fight. And by the way, make sure you go follow me on Twitter at True School Sports. I'll be on there all the time just having fun, talking shit. So go on there and say what's up. But yeah, I really think that these fights are gonna happen. Now, you may say, BT, why the hell is Boots gonna fight some random Russian guy? And why is Vergil Ortiz gonna fight Fundora? So all you gotta do is go look at the rankings. You got right now, as you can see right here, Vergil Ortiz is your interim champion. Sebastian Fundora is the actual champion. And PBC, we know PBC right now, they're on life support. They're doing their thing. They're putting on a good card on December 6th with Lamont Roach and Pitbull Cruz, but they're not really in a great place. Neither is Top Rank, and this is probably one of the rare scenarios of recent history where the Golden Boy fighter would actually be the A side over the PBC fighter. You understand? I think this is a fight that that PBC would happily take, because Sebastian Fundora, even though he is a Mexican-American fighter and he is a TV fan-friendly fighter, Sebastian Fundora is not a guy that sells tickets. I mean, if you go back and you watch his last fight against Cordell Brooker, the crowd was so small he could have hugged the whole crowd in about 10 minutes and been out the arena. I mean, it was a real small crowd, probably the smallest crowd I've ever seen for any fight at Mandalay Bay. So I think they'll take this fight because they understand that, a win for them over a guy like Vergil Ortiz would boost Fundura's value. You understand? So I think they're gonna fight if Boots him don't fight next. And then as far as Jaron Ennis, if he don't fight Vergil next, I think he's fighting Pavel Soslin because, as you can see, Boots is the interim champion for the WBA. Abbas Barrow isn't going to fight Boots because Abbas Barrow is going to fight Xander Zayas in a unification fight. That officially got announced today. That'll be January 31st in Puerto Rico. So the WBO champion and the WBA champion are occupied right now for a unification fight. And you see the number 1 spot here is vacant. And the number 2 is Pavel Soslin. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't come on here and tell lies. I don't come on here and act like I know what I'm talking about when I don't. I don't know shit about Pavel Soslin. I never seen him fight. I couldn't tell you one thing about his career. All I can tell you is that he's number 2 in the WBA. I haven't watched him yet. But if we're gonna use BoxRec and just look at his resume at face value, I'll be honest. I don't really recognize any of these names except his fight from July. And that's right here. So he fought Magomed Kurbanov, and Magomed Kurbanov is a guy that he had a really controversial fight. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had a controversial fight with Liam Smith. Was it Liam Smith, or was it Soro? Who was it? Liam Smith. He had this fight with Liam Smith that a lot of people thought he lost, but they gave it to him, right? And he beat Patrick Teixeira. He had another close fight with Michael Soro. So he's not terrible, but he ain't great either. He's solid. And Pavel Soslin beat him in a split decision in Russia. So that's the most notable name on his resume, beating former world title challenger Magomed Kurbanov. And, none of us really know who he is here in the States. So, I think if history tells us anything, that's probably what Boots is going to do next. I think he'll fight Pavel Soslin. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. Y'all can tell me, are any of you guys excited about Jaron Ennis fighting Pavel Soslin? Are you excited about Vergil Ortiz fighting Sebastian Fundura? You let me know in the comments. Boots will kill Danny Garcia. You know that, BT. Also, why is the B side being asked for $10 million? Golden Whip Promotions and Oscar don't see themselves as the B side. To be honest with you, I would objectively, I would say Jaron Ennis is a slight A side just because I feel like when you look at their core fan bases, Vergil Ortiz is a Mexican American fighter. So his core fan base will be the Mexican and Mexican American fans. Listen, guys, I've been here on YouTube for a while talking about Vergil Ortiz. He hasn't really started to become fully embraced by the Mexican boxing fans up until his last couple of fights. Because he doesn't speak Spanish, and when you're a Mexican fighter and you don't speak Spanish, it takes a little bit longer for you to get the full support of the Mexican boxing community. That's just how it is. I don't make the rules. I'm just telling you how it is. Boots, I feel like he got more of the black boxing fan base than Vergil does the Mexican and Mexican American community. That's my opinion. So I feel like he is a slight A side, but really, I feel like the deal should be, 45 to Boots, 45 to Vergil. The winner can get the extra 10. And then if the fight's good enough, the rematch, the winner can demand more and demand a more lopsided split. I feel like that's what's fair and equitable and just. But, boxing and life ain't fair, equitable, and just. You got to negotiate these things. So we shall see. David says that he thinks Brandon Adams against Vergil or Boots would be a great fight, or Andre Katsourakis, whose style is kind of ugly. Those are good fights. I wouldn't be mad at any of those fights. I like Brandon Adams. I like Andre Katsourakis, but why? Them guys ain't gonna fight no damn Brandon Adams or Andre Katsourakis. There's no reason to from a business standpoint. Ortiz got pulled up on by Boots in his hometown in front of his crowd. If they don't fight, say it quickly, it'll be Ortiz's team. They're ducking the smoke. I feel like they're both ducking, honestly. If we're being honest, Jaron Ennis already ducked Vergil Ortiz at this time last year. He was offered the fight by Turki Al-Sheikh, he turned it down. He didn't want the fight because there was a whole mix-up between the weight classes and whatnot. He wanted to fight about 47 because he wanted to stay at 47 and go undisputed, which he didn't even wind up doing because he didn't want to fight Brian Norman Jr. towards the end of his run because he said he couldn't make the weight. So, you know, I'm not really giving Vergil or Boots the benefit of the doubt because I've already seen Vergil or Boots avoid multiple people. I've seen Vergil, you know, do things as well I don't agree with. So I'm not giving either one of them the benefit of the doubt. I've been saying this. I said it last month when I did my post-fight review video for the Lima fight. I said it in that video that I'm already getting tired of Boots and Vergil. I'm like, my patience is here. So I'm keeping that same energy. You see, shout out to everybody here. Let me scroll down. Apparently, you're saying Bakram knocked off Fundura in sparring. Well, allegedly. There's a lot of Latino fighters that don't speak Spanish, which is surprising. Bam, too. Well, that's what I'm saying. Because Vergil doesn't speak Spanish, his reach to his, you know, audience isn't. He doesn't have as tight of a grip as I feel Boots does with his. That's just my opinion and what I'm seeing. Who has the bigger fan base, Spence or Boots? Spence. Spence has a bigger fan base than both these guys put together. You know, so I get it. I get why you fight Spence, but Errol Spence is washed up. He doesn't want to fight. Like, I feel like we're wasting, like, the fact that Errol Spence's name is even relevant to this conversation. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we doing? You know? Fundura ducked Zayas. That's why he got stripped. He even tried to put a rehydration clause on him. Yeah, like, look. Oh, you know what? Since you mentioned Zayas, let me go to my next talking point because we don't got. I'm not trying to be on here for like 3 hours today. I got to get through my talking points and talk to you guys and do my thing. But funny thing is, right? The funniest thing about all this with Vergil and Boots and these guys, and believe it or not, this is actually my last talking point. So after this, y'all can ask me whatever the fuck y'all want to ask me, and we'll have fun with it till the 2-hour mark. But the funniest thing about all this, and let me go back to screen share, is that if Jaron Ennis and Vergil Ortiz, if they want to throw something on the grill, if they want to throw some lamb chops, some skirt steaks, you know, they want to throw some pineapples on the grill as well. If they want to be master grillers and marinate the fight, what's going to wind up happening is inevitably one day, and when I say one day, I mean like not so far from now. One day they're going to look up, might be in late 2026, might be in early 2027. They keep marinating this fight. They're going to look up and they're going to see Xander Zayas with all the belts at 154 because guys, while Rick Morrigan is being an accountant, while Oscar De La Hoya is trying to be the A side, while Eddie Hearn's even throwing out the idea of Jaron Ennis fighting Danny Garcia, while all that's happening, while all that's going on in the sport, you got Xander Zayas, the guy that people want to hate on so much. They say, oh, Xander Zayas is not that good. He will lose to Vergil. He'll lose to Boots. Cool. Why won't Vergil or Boots get in position to win a belt so they can fight the guy? You know, I don't understand it. A lot of fighters get accused of ducking fights. A lot of fighters get accused of being divas, and a lot of people are eager to put Xander Zayas in that category because he's been pushed by the machine of Top Rank. Top Rank has televised all of his fights, and people feel like he's not as good as advertised, which is okay. But one thing we're not going to do is act like Xander Zayas ain't a real fighter because he won his world title. He's the youngest world champion in boxing, right? It was rumored that he was going to fight Giovanni Santillan in a very random ass title defense. And it wasn't true. It wasn't true because Xander Zayas said, "No, I don't want Giovanni Santillan. Fuck that. Give me Abbas Barrow. Give me the world champion." And his first world title defense is going to be unification. Let me repeat that, guys. 2022 or 22 years old, Xander Zayas, 22-year-old Xander Zayas is going to have his first title defense, and it's going to be a unification fight. There's very few fighters in this entire sport of boxing in any weight class, at any age, that have their first title defense be a unification fight. So who's really a real fighter? Who's really moving like, a guy that really wants to smoke? It's Xander Zayas. And look, that's January 31st. He wins that fight. Here, he's already halfway there to undisputed, right? And then, listen, Top Rank has invested a lot of money into Xander. He's taken the right fights he's developed. I'm telling you right now, if you don't think that Xander Zayas would go fight a Bakram Murtazaliev, I'm telling you, I think he will fight Bakram Murtazaliev. They will overpay to get him in the ring if they need to, because they want to make this kid the next star of boxing, right? And one of the ways to do that is by making him undisputed. Now, of course, there is the possibility that he could go to 160 and get a title there, but Crawford's going to be there, so they don't want that smoke. So they'll stay at 54, and I think they will try to go the undisputed route, and they're going to get really aggressive. I think 2026 for Xander Zayas is going to be the year where you see Top Rank and his manager Peter Khan get really aggressive with the matchmaking, more aggressive than they've ever been in his entire career. And it starts with Abbas Barrow, and I think I like Abbas Barrow. He's a good fighter. I'm not gonna overlook him and say he can't beat Xander, but Xander's gonna beat him. I think Xander's reach, his boxing skills, his timing, he's gonna outpoint him more than likely, maybe get a late stoppage, and he's gonna be the WBO and WBA unified champion of the world, which means you have the IBF and you have the WBC, right? So one of these guys, I don't give a damn if it's Vergil or Boots, one of these guys need to go ahead and go get a belt, because if not, if one of them don't go get a belt, or if they don't at least fight each other, Xander Zayas is going to become the undisputed 154-pound champion by no later than the first quarter of 2027. I'm telling you that right now. At the latest, he's becoming the undisputed champion in early 2027, first quarter of 2027. At the earliest, I'll say the fourth quarter, the latter part of the third quarter of next year. So they better get to it, because you guys a lot of people have been downplaying Xander Zayas for a long time. Vergil Ortiz at this time last year was downplaying Xander Zayas. He avoided Xander Zayas because he wanted to go fight Madrimov. And I told y'all, Madrimov ain't that good. Beating Madrimov doesn't do anything for your career. And look what Vergil's at. He's still not a world champion. He's still not fighting Boots. And, Xander Zayas about to take over the whole division. So I can't wait. While all y'all are arguing about Boots and Vergil and who should be fighting who and who's ducking who, Xander Zayas is just picking them off one by one. And listen, if the paths cross and it's time to fight a Boots or a Vergil, then so be it. But truthfully speaking, if Xander Zayas go undisputed because these guys want to bicker and play accountant, and Rick Morrigan thinks that Vergil Ortiz is Oscar de la Hoya, well then shit, Xander Zayas can go undisputed, and the mission be accomplished, and he can go to 160. Because if you go undisputed, you can stay if you want to, but if you go undisputed, mission completed. So it's not Xander's fault if the teams of Boots and the teams of Vergil don't do their damn jobs. So I'll leave it at that. And I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that, but that's just the truth. Xander could have unified versus Bakram. We needed an opponent, but he picked a guy from Germany that nobody has heard of. And my man, the Martin, says that. I mean, Bakram's fighting Josh Kelly. That's the route he's going. He's fighting Josh Kelly. They're lining him up for Josh Kelly. So listen. Bakram is a good fighter. I like Bakram. I do think a lot of guys are ducking Bakram. I can't say right now that Xander's ducking Bakram. He's not ducking Bakram. I think he'll fight Bakram. Y'all keep thinking that Xander won't fight Bakram. What's going to wind up happening is he's going to go get this belt, and that paperwork is going to go get passed to Bakram. And he said that Xander's run will stop at Bakram or Fundora. The boy ain't becoming no damn undisputed shit. If we leave it up to Vergil and Xander, if we leave it up to Vergil and Boots, he will become the undisputed champion, because they're gonna go. And their teams are going to keep arguing about money. And while they're doing all that, Xander is just going to pick every belt off one by one. And a lot of y'all are going to hate it. Y'all going to say he's not that good. But I'm going to say it don't matter if you don't think he's that good. He's the undisputed champion. What champion did Xander fight for his belt? Exactly. Now he's fighting another email champion. We wouldn't have these guys in these predicaments if Vergil Ortiz and Rick Morrigan and Golden Boy Promotions stopped playing games. If Xander wasn't that good, when Xander said yes last year when he wasn't champion, he would have got exposed, right? Because he's not on Virgil's level. If Xander wasn't that good, when Xander said yes again and said, "Hey, I'll fight you, but it's got to be in Puerto Rico," they would have went to Puerto Rico because he's a champion. But no, they don't want to do that. They want to be the A side. They want to do this. So, it is what it is. How can you duck a guy who's not in your weight class? Boots said it might be time to move up after Karen too. Eddie was the one trying to make the fight before Boots fully committed to moving up. Boots has said a lot of things. I like Boots, but he said a lot of things. You don't want to play the what did Boots say game with me. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, he did. He did want to fight Bakran, but guess what? He lost. Unfortunately, he lost. Like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these fighters who you guys want to call hype jobs, they actually won the fights that the promoters got them to get into that position. Conwell was getting these fights from Golden Boy. They were doing right by him. All he had to do was beat little old Jorge, Sebastian, Perez, whatever the hell his name was. And he couldn't do it. He wasn't good enough. So, Conwell needs to, unfortunately, work his way back up. What does saying yes when there isn't a contract on the table mean? Did they offer their own contract to Vergil? Turkey Al Sheikh made the offer to Xander, and Xander said yes. There was multiple fights that were out there. When Xander got the opportunity, he said yes. When he wasn't champion, then when Xander was champion, Golden Boy tried to strong arm him into fighting, and he said yes. He said yes to their offer. He just said, "Look, let's do it in Puerto Rico." And you know what? If he's the champion, if you're trying to get what he has because you want it, because you want to become champion to elevate your status in the sport, then you make it. Then you concede and you go there and you beat the shit out of him. But they don't really believe in him like that. So it is what it is. So yeah, that's really where I stand. When it comes to the whole situation of Vergil versus Boots, I'm gonna be blunt with you guys, and y'all not gonna like this. But if we look at, like, when it comes to finally stepping up and being in them fights that they really need to be in, Boots has moved like a diva, and I like Vergil. He doesn't have the mannerisms of a diva, but man, big time Xander. Your team is trying to big time Boots. Like, it's ridiculous. So I never seen two fighters who aren't champions in a weight class have such a hard time making a fight. Normally, okay, I'm ranked near you, you're ranked near me, let's get it on. That's normally how it goes. But when everybody's anointing you as the next big thing, that's how it goes. How many fights has Xander had at 154? Come on, man, you know boxing. You're here, you know boxing. His whole career. So that's like 22 fights. How many top 10 154 pounders? About 2 or 3. These aren't 500K fighters. Listen, Boots has made more than 500K in his career. Xander has made, or Vergil has made more than 500K in his career. Like, these guys are making money, bro. These guys make money, especially those guys. I don't understand. I really, for the life of me, can't understand it. What's so hard to make the fight? Like, do we have to wait for Jaron Ennis to go get a resume? Like, does Jaron Ennis need to go beat a Brandon Adams for us to make Vergil Boots worthwhile? Does he got to go beat Charlo? Does he got to go, like, what does he got to go? What's the holdup? In order for this to work, you have to be mature. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, but God bless you. He does count. He does count because he beat Charles Conwell. Charles Conwell was ranked up there. He was up there. He was gonna get the Vergil fight, and he beat him. So yeah, unfortunately, people like to downplay that loss. They like to downplay Jorge Garcia, but he beat Charles Conwell. And before Charles Conwell lost to Vergil, a lot of people, myself included, were saying that Charles Conwell was one of the dark horses of the division. And listen, a loss doesn't define you. He still could be if he has it within his soul to go back to the gym and work hard and be his best. But nah, man, he was one of the top contenders. But what you guys are failing to understand. See, this is why I'm getting frustrated about the whole Errol Spence thing. It's not an option because Errol Spence doesn't actually want to box anymore. He's not coming back. He's not coming back to boxing. Get Errol Spence out of your head. Errol Spence is secure. He's got money. He's got a nice house off in the countryside. I know, he does well for himself. He's not come back to boxing. And evidence this can be shown if you just pay attention to him on social media. Go look at how he reacts to every time somebody asks him when he's fighting again. He's always mad about it. He's always pissed off about it. He's not fighting Vergil. He's not fighting nobody. You know what? I actually had a talking point that I missed. Let me actually go back to my talking points because y'all got me fired up today. This bullshit has me fired up today because I like Vergil. I like Boots. I think these guys they have a lot of potential to do great things in their careers and for boxing in America. But man, their teams are on some bullshit. Both of them, Matchroom and Golden Boy. And that's why Matchroom and Golden Boy. That's why Matchroom and Golden Boy are beneath PBC and Top Rank. Straight up. Now, y'all talking about Errol Spence, right? And last time I checked, it's 2025. It ain't 2020. It ain't 2021. It ain't 2022 no more. Right? Errol Spence doesn't mean anything. Like, he's not relevant to the division. He hasn't even fought in the damn division. But y'all want to talk about Errol Spence. So you guys are talking about Errol Spence, right? And truth be told, like, he needs to go fight Eric Salubin. He need to go get we talking about tune-up fights, like Boots fought Lima in a tune-up fight. Tune-up fights have been a popular topic of discussion in boxing. Earl need a tune-up. He needs a crossroads fight. He needs to get his feet wet fighting in the 154 division before even thinking about fighting Vergil Ortiz, coming off of that beat down he took from Terrence Crawford. All right. And I think the ideal fight for Errol Spence is to fight Eric Salubin. I feel like that's the level Eric Salubin is on now. Fighting, a past his prime, checked out of boxing Errol Spence. Because Lubin's proven time and time again. You put him in a fight that really means something on the world-class level against a fighter that's really at the top, he's not going to win. That's been proven time and time again at every stage of his career. When he was young, it was proven with Charlo. When he was, a couple years ago, he fought Fundura, was proven with Fundura. The other day with Vergil, everybody, I'm hearing like 70% of the boxing world, they felt like, say, damn, Lubin got too much skills for Vergil. Vergil's a flat-footed Mexican. Got beat up in 2 rounds. So his level, Eric Lubin's level, Errol Spence's level, they can fight each other. Or Lubin can go fight Usima Lima, right? That's the level, right? So I don't want to hear about Errol Spence. Errol Spence should not be relevant to any conversation in the 154 division. How the hell how is the boxing world making Errol Spence relevant at 154? He hasn't done anything at 154. Who's he fought at 154? When has he fought at 154? Like, last time we saw Errol Spence, y'all know what happened to him. And he hasn't come close to coming back to the boxing ring since then. So look, I say we do Errol Spence versus Eric Salubin. Shout out to my man A-Side Boxing Talk. This is a good point. Do Errol Spence versus Eric Salubin. And then if Errol Spence can get past Eric Salubin, then boom, he's ready. He's now ready and he's prepared for whatever. He's got the cobwebs off. He has the ring rust off because, ring rust is a real thing. And then we can go ahead and do something nice for boxing, talking about we want to see Errol Spence versus Vergil Ortiz. Have you guys lost your damn mind? Has boxing lost its damn mind? It's easy to be dismissive of Lubin. In hindsight, a lot of people had Lubin upsetting Vergil. Well, I want to be very upfront and let the record show. I've been extremely dismissive of Eric Salubin going into the Vergil Ortiz fight. I knew that he had almost 0 to no chance. If you go back and you watch all my videos from the fight first got signed, I told y'all, like, I've watched his career. I'm from South Florida. I've been knowing about Eric Salubin for like well over 10 years. I've been knowing about his whole career. Before you guys even knew who he was on PBC, I knew who Eric Salubin was. And like, he's never really been quite as good as advertised. Everyone who was picking Eric Salubin, I thought you guys were fools. I thought, and you know what? It's okay because I've gotten plenty of fights wrong. But like, damn, y'all couldn't see that one. Y'all didn't watch the Adriel Holmes fight. Come on. But yeah, a lot of people did have Eric Sloan beating Vergil Ortiz because they thought he was, this flat-footed, one-dimensional Mexican fighter, and he's not. He's a lot more to him, and you saw it with that knockout. I wonder why fans don't talk about Brendan Adams more. I feel like he's high risk, low reward, but the dark horse of the division. It's kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing. Adams isn't a guy that talks a lot, so his name's not in the media a whole lot. But I agree. I think Brendan Adams deserves a shot at a big fight. He just beat Boachuk again. And truth be told, in Boachuk 1 and Boachuk 2, he beat Boachuk better than Vergil did, in my opinion. And I love Vergil Ortiz, but Vergil Ortiz didn't beat Boachuk. I thought Boachuk won, straight up. And they took it from him. They stole it from him. Yeah, man. Like Lubin got it. Lubin shouldn't even have been in the position to fight Vergil Ortiz. He lost to Jesus Ramos, and judges just ignored Jesus Ramos's body work. Like, no, he shouldn't even have been in a position to fight Vergil Ortiz. He's not on that level. He's not even on the Jesus Ramos level. He lost to Jesus Ramos. They gave it to him. Everyone knows that. Yeah, it's good to see that there's some sanity in the world, some smart people in the world. This was the talking points for Lou winning. Majimov was sick, and Boachuk won their fight. Yeah, come on, man. First of all, Majimov is Majimov. Like, that's another one. Like, y'all, a lot of y'all keep going on about Majimov. Like, I'll give Majimov his just due. At least when he got one of his fights on a big level, he gave Terrence Crawford, a really good fight, which he ended Terrence Crawford's knockout streak, which is not to be scoffed at. Terrence Crawford's an all-time great fighter. But outside of Terrence Crawford, Majimov has never really been like he ain't really shown a whole lot. Won his world title against Magomed Kurbanov, the same guy that just lost to Pavel Soslin. So it's like, I think Majimov is a good fighter, but I think people do too much when they talk about Majimov. They class him too highly, No, I haven't seen that. What are my thoughts on Diego Pacheco versus Kevin Lele Sajo? Funny enough, I just made a video about it, and I just uploaded it into my dashboard. So I'll be editing that tonight before I go to sleep and posting that soon. But very good fight. I think it's one of the top 3 fights remaining in 2025. I'll say Norman Jr. Haney, Fulton Foster, and then that fight could be tied for 3rd with Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason. Great fight. Pacheco, a lot of people are not sold on Diego Pacheco. They don't feel like he's as good as advertised. I like Diego Pacheco. I've been very high on Diego Pacheco from day one. I think I've been saying it for a while that I think he's Eddie Hearn's best fighter as far as like the Matchroom USA fighters he signed, because he had Raymond Ford, Arthur Jones III, Mark Castro, Nikita Abibi. I've always thought that he's better than those guys, right? And this is the fight where I'm going to find out how good Pacheco is, because Kevin Lele Sajo is no joke. He's 26-0, 23 knockouts, big-time puncher, has the same sort of build as a Christian and Billy. Pacheco, if he gets hit the wrong way one time, could be very, very problematic for him. Funny enough, Pacheco has like an 11-inch reach advantage right now. He has an 11-inch reach advantage. I think he's like a 79. Sajo is a 68. So, he has to exploit that and keep him at the end of his punches. If he doesn't do that, he's going to be in some big, big trouble, because that dude, he gets underneath and comes over the top of the overhand right or something like that. It might be like one of those knockouts that you see for tall fighters happen. So it's a really good fight. 2 big punchers. I think Pacheco wins on points. Vergil was the one who brought out Spence. The boxing world understood Earl was going to come back when he was ready to come back. He's never coming back. Like, that's what you got. That's what the boxing world, like, I wish PBC would get it. I wish the boxing world, he's not coming back. He doesn't want to come back. He may say he wants to come back, but then when he actually has to deal with the realities of being back in the fight game for real. No, he don't want to come back. Well, he made his money. He's got his fan base. Nah, man. Why do you think Crawford doesn't stay at 168 to fight guys like Billy Munguia? I think Johnny Beck is more dangerous. Those aren't money fights. He's already undisputed in the weight class, and he wants to try to go undisputed in another weight class. So that's all that is. I don't think he's ducking those guys. Shout out to my man Johnny. Shout out to Johnny. Hey Johnny, let's go Panthers. Make sure the Florida Panthers beat the Knights today. Make sure you cheer nice and loud for me tonight at the game. But yeah, man. Let me see. It don't matter if they fight or not. Vergil is going to lose anyway. Boots will beat anyone. Well, yeah, he's the eye test champion. He beats everybody without having to beat everybody. Nah, man, prove that shit in the ring. Prove it in the ring at some point. Tired of I like Boots, but tired of him being the eye test champion. I just want the truth. I don't give a shit about Sergio Pacheco. The fight is the battle of the Iglesias Duckers. I was just gonna ask. No, but listen, that's another guy. Nobody's gonna touch Olisses Iglesias with a 10-foot pole until they absolutely have to, because not many people know who he is, and he's really dangerous. He's really punching like that. How do I see Bam versus Puma Martinez going? I'm not sure. I'll say Bam, but I think Puma could be his toughest fight. Raymond Ford is the best Matchroom USA fighter, but Matchroom doesn't care about him. His career is moving as if he isn't signed to a promoter with the network deal. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like they've done right. I mean, now what I'll say about Ford, they left him out to dry with the Komatov fight. Now it worked out because Ford, his back was against the wall, and he's one of those people that feeds off negativity. He came here on True School Sports. He saw all my videos about Oleg Komatov. Eddie Hearn didn't win the purse bid for the fight, so Top Rank got the rights for the fight. So he was the B side in America against an Uzbek guy, right? But then after he won that fight, he's been winning these fights on good cards, but he's not necessarily looking sensational in these fights. He's doing his thing, he's winning, showing some flashes of brilliance in these fights, but he's not putting that exclamation point that he should be at 130 in these fights. So, I mean, look, right now, as it stands, of the Matchroom Boxing USA fighters, he is the best because he's the only one that they've signed from the amateurs, straight from the amateurs, in the pros that has actually won a world title. So right now, it would be proven as such. But for me, I've always said that I think Jacob Pacheco is the best one. I would say, in my opinion, Pacheco is 1 and Ford is 2. And then after that, who cares? You could put Mark Castro 3 or a BB or Otha Jones or them guys, but yeah. Who do you want to see Tiger Johnson fight next? That's a great question. I would like to see him fight Karen, either Karen or Polanco, but I want to see him fight Karen because I'm tired of the Boots fans gassing up Karen. Every time Karen goes to Russia and beats up some Can, all these Boots fans say, he can't beat Karen. Brian Overman can't beat Karen. This guy can't be Karen. That boy can't be Karen. Listen, we don't know what Karen is. Karen's only ever fought Boots. So I would like to see Karen fight Tiger. That would give me more insight into how good Karen is. And if Karen could beat Tiger Johnson, then shit, give Karen a title shot. Tiger Johnson beat the brakes off of Floss, another Puerto Rican hype job. I don't think he was a hype job because he didn't have a lot of hype. Floss lost some fights early in his career, and then any hype he got was earned because he was beating the shit out of people on Pro Box back to back to back to back to back. I picked Tiger Johnson to win. A lot of people were picking Floss based on recent form. I picked Tiger Johnson because I knew he was the better fighter. I knew if he showed up anything close to his best, he's better than Nicholas Floss. So I wasn't shocked that he won, but I was shocked with how he won. I didn't think he was going to punch holes through him like that. Nah, bro, you were saying, why are people talking about Spence when it was Vergil who brought out Spence first? But no, people bring up Spence regardless. Even before that, even before Vergil aside, when it comes to Fundora, all these other guys at 54, people been bringing up Spence, and it pisses me off. Earl Spence is not relevant. It's over. Crawford retired him. The story is done. Earl Spence is not going to come back. Earl Spence doesn't want to box. funny. What's the biggest fight in American boxing? Boots versus Vergil or Shakur versus Tio? It's a good question. I'm gonna go with, honestly, I actually think Vergil versus Boots might be a bigger fight. Honestly, Teofimo Lopez doesn't sell like you guys think. Like he's a good fighter, but they're fantastic fighters. But I don't know, man. I feel like Vergil versus Boots is gonna be a big fight when it happens. Boxing is so bad that all the good fights got pushed back. Which fights are those? Tiger Johnson has been matched solid from the prospects today. I like the way he's been brought along, promising future. Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of steady fights for him, and you know, he wasn't necessarily like lighting the world on fire, but he was winning. So my thing is if you're a prospect, you know, it's okay to not look good in some of your fights, but you got to make sure you find ways to win. And he hasn't really had any fights where he's come close to losing. He just had fights where he wins and doesn't look spectacular. And there's a difference between struggling to win and winning and not looking spectacular. He's been winning and not looking spectacular, but now that he's won and looked spectacular against a good opponent in Flaus, well, shit, now he's here. Now he's a legitimate welterweight contender heading into 2026. So there's that. Who are the three current American fighters with the biggest fan base? I have to say Crawford because of the longevity. Crawford, Dave Benavidez. After that, I don't know. You could say whatever you want after that. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? I'm not sure. But I'll tell you this: if Brian Norman Jr. does what I think he's going to do to Devin Haney, he's going to become a big star. A lot of these welterweights are going to have to start going to Atlanta. Atlanta's gonna fuck around and become the welterweight destination. Oh, Tank. There you go. See, Tank. Tank is 1, Crawford 2, Benavidez 3. We'll go that one. I forget about Tank because Tank, you know, most of the time when he's in the news these days, it's for reasons that have nothing to do with boxing. You know, like beating on girls at Miami strip clubs and things of that nature. You know, so I forget. You know, Tank don't fight often. Then when they do fight, you know, it's like, you know, Tank is 1. Do you think they can make a Lester Martinez versus Shiraz fight now that and Billy isn't rematching Martinez? Could they make Lester Martinez versus Shiraz? Yeah, I mean, they're available. It really all depends on, in that scenario, I think it would depend on, does Frank Warren feel safe enough putting Hamza Shiraz in with a puncher like Martinez? Because these promoters will talk to you and they'll say, oh, well, my guy could be anybody in the world. But then you put a guy like Lester Martinez or an Billy in front of him, and now all of a sudden, you know, they pulled that calculator. They start wanting to protect their investment. So ideally they could, but it really is on the court. It's up to Frank Warren and Queensberry because they're the A side of that in that scenario. I don't think Martinez would have a problem taking the fight. I think Pro Box and Gary Jonas and the fine folks there, I feel like they would take the fight because Pro Box, they've shown that ability to throw their fighters in there. My man said, "I'm surprised you don't talk about Japanese fighters no more. There's nothing to talk about right now, and I don't know where you're getting that idea from because literally, I just dropped a video like a day or two ago. I just dropped the video on Kyosuke Takami fighting Rene Santiago like about a day or two ago. I just dropped the video today about Katsuma Akitsugi. I've already shot like 5 or 6 other Japanese boxing videos. I just dropped a short earlier today about the Japanese legend, the Japanese legend Kuniaki Shibata. So what are you talking about? This is True School Sports. This is still the home of boxing. This is still the #1 source for Japanese boxing in America. So what do you mean I don't talk about Japanese fighters no more? Nobody in America talks about Japanese fighters more than me. So I don't know what you're talking about. There's not a whole lot going on with Japanese boxing right now. Not for about another 2 weeks. There's no card. I mean, the next Japanese card is what? Takuma Inoue and Tenshin, and that's on the 24th. So, I mean, there's nothing to talk about. Andy Hiroka versus Gary Anton Russell was supposed to happen, but that got pushed back because Tank, and Jake Paul got pushed back. That's what I'm saying. Like, your channel is the only reason I know about Japanese fighters not named Nakatani and the Inoue bros. Exactly. That's the only, like, for a lot of people, even people in Japan, they'll tell you, they'll say, you know what, I'm from Japan and I get my Japanese news from True School, so I don't know. Can we get a live watching of Inoue Tenshin? Can we throw a party if Tenshin loses? I don't want Tenshin to lose. I want Takuma to lose because I'm tired. I'm tired of Takuma Inoue and everyone acting like he's this great fighter because his last name is Inoue. He sucks. Like he's overrated. All right. I'm tired of the powers that be in Japan. Okay, you know what? Hold on. Let me calm down. Takuma Inoue doesn't suck. He was a world champion. I don't want to downplay world champions. But what I'm saying is, like, people class him way too damn highly, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the Takuma Inoue hype. It's really, really pissing me off. So I think Tenshin is gonna go ahead and win and do his thing. Let's see. The short. Hold on, guys. 1 second. Okay. The short videos are fire. It's the best way to blow your channel up. Oh yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad to finally get back to the short videos. I kind of got away from it for a little bit. But yeah, they've been a lot of fun to make, and I got more of those coming out as well. Hey BT, it's been a while since I caught one of your lives. How have you been? Good. I've been good. I was in the Bay Area for like 44 days with Yugo Osaki in training camp for his fight that got canceled. Pissed me off. Then I came back home and I was kind of sad about that for a little bit. So I was making no videos, but now I'm back to it. So everything is good. Everything's exceptional. Getting ready for a good finish to 2025 and a great 2026. Who do I got in the Eubank Band rematch? Honestly, I haven't thought about it at all because I don't care about that fight. I think Eubank and Band is a waste of a fight, but I'll go at Eubank again. Eubank is going to win again. I picked Eubank the first time. I'll pick him again. Do you know when Angelo Leo returns? I do. I have. It's not a concrete date, but I have an idea of what the timetable is, and I know who the opponent is, but I can't speak on it. I can't speak on it until it gets announced. What I can say is it's not going to be. You know it's not Espinoza because Espinoza's fighting this weekend, and it's not Nick Ball because Nick Ball don't want to fight no one, and then it's not Stephen Fulton because Stephen Fulton didn't even want to stay around long enough to give us rematch. So I know who it is. It's gonna be a voluntary, like I've been telling you guys, but I can't speak on it. It's not my business. I'm not allowed to. Who does Bam have a better chance against? I'm not going to answer that because none of those fights are ever going to happen because of Mr. Honda. It's not even worth wasting my breath. Bam is never going to fight not Junto, and Bam is definitely never going to fight Inoue. I'll bet whatever on it too. Like, and that's why it really, you guys have no idea how much it makes my blood boil when I get on Twitter and I see people saying Bam versus Inoue and Bam versus and arguing about it. Like, I'm telling you guys, I've been telling you guys, and I ain't been wrong yet, and I'm not gonna be wrong because they got their plans. They got the plans with Bam, they got the plans with Junto. They don't involve each other, But I would say he has a better chance against Junto, honestly. Are they better than K Guy or is it Bruce Carrington? I'm not telling y'all who it is. I'm not gonna tell you guys if I think it's a good opponent or a bad opponent. You'll see when it gets announced. And presumably, when the fight does get announced and when it does come out, I'll be heading to training camp, as I always do with Angelo. I'm looking very forward to it because I love being in camp. I'm the happiest when I'm in camp. It's fun. That would be a tough fight. That's one of them fights where like, shit. That's a guy that I think would have a chance. Segal was one of the most underrated featherweights. Bam versus Kenshiro is damn near happening. It's possible. I kind of hate the timing of it. Like I wish it would have happened like one fight ago when Kenshiro was on the pound for pound list. I feel like they would have fought, each other instead of Bam fighting Puma or Sandoval fighting Kenshiro. I would have liked it then, but I feel like if it does happen next for Bam, it's happening at the right time. Kenshiro's not washed up. He's still a good fighter. Still a very good fighter. But that Seigo Yuriokui fight was hellacious, and he definitely lost at least a step since that fight for sure. That Sandoval fight was stupid. Why did they even do it? I don't know why they did that fight. Personally, like I didn't think it was stupid. I thought he beat Sandoval when they fought, and I thought he probably should have beat a little easier than he did. But they robbed him. They got him out of there. So Sandoval's not a big name. I don't know, man. They don't really care about Kenshiro. You would think that with him being one of the best fighters from Japan, you would think that he would get like treated better, but no. All the guys that Bam was supposed to fight, they made Kenshiro fight him. Bam was supposed to fight Olas Kuwaga. Bam's supposed to be fighting Ricardo Sandoval. These kind of guys, these big, strong, young Mexican American fighters. But nope, they give him to Kenshiro. Do you think we'll get Mikita Nakano versus Angel Leo at some point? Oh shit! I mean, it depends. It depends, man. It depends. Depends if Mikita Nakano dusts off his passport, bring his ass to New Mexico. It all depends on him. If he becomes mandatory and he dusts off his passport and brings himself to Vegas or New Mexico, then shit, why not? Kenshiro is definitely still good. He was just headhunting too hard in the later rounds. He was going to the body and he was winning those rounds. Yeah, I think so too. And like Kenshiro, he's had this habit over the years recently of just going to war every fight. Like he wasn't always like that. Like, of course, he's an aggressive fighter and he always looks to get the knockout and hurt opponents and things like that. But Kenshiro Taraji used to actually box, and that would set up his knockouts. Now I feel like he just goes to war. Pisses me off. I had a conversation between some of my generals, so I wanted to ask you, between Vergil or Benavidez, who would you say is better at that style? Vergil, as I think he presses better and he has a better combination puncher. I'm a big fan of Vergil Ortiz's skill set, so I'll probably say Vergil Ortiz. I think Vergil Ortiz has one of the best power jabs in the business, and it doesn't get enough credit. Everybody just talks about his power and his finishing and his volume and just all those things that are so easy to see, but they don't give him credit for like what he does with his lead hand. I don't think his power jab gets enough credit. I like his style more, so I'll be biased and say Vergil, but Benavidez is awesome too. Bam is afraid of Japanese fighters. I don't think he's afraid of Japanese fighters, but I just think like Mr. Honda's on some weird shit with him. Like Mr. Honda just be on like how it don't make no sense. How are you fighting in those particular weight classes where many of the elite creme de la creme top fighters are Japanese? You got the guy that rules over all the boxing in Japan, and you've never fought nobody from Japan. It makes literally zero sense. And then when I bring it up, like I bring it up to Bam Rodriguez fanboys sometimes on Twitter, and they don't like it. Will I be in Japan for Inoue Nakatani? God willing, yes. I have made my plans to go to Japan. I have like my I have a date in mind that I want to fly out to Japan in advance, because I don't want to just go out there to Japan for Inoue Nakatani. Like I don't want to go out there when it's just fight week. Nah. I'm trying to get to Japan. Like I'm trying to get to Japan a month and a half in advance. I'm trying to be there for the whole build up and go to the fight. Give you all the real like Inoue Nakatani content. So if they fight in May, right now my target date to leave the States, I'm going to say somewhere between February 26th and March 2nd, somewhere around there, like the last week of February, first week of March, something like that. The fight's going to be in May, so that'll give me about a month or two in Japan. Yeah, I think that's doable. What's crazy is Honda even is that Honda does Honda even start to even have rights over Bam? I know they signed a deal at the start, but what's the relationship now? To my knowledge, they're still together because he's still with Tekken Promotions. Like he has Eddie Hearn is his American promoter, but Mr. Honda is his main promoter. Mr. Honda has, I'm pretty sure, like I don't have Bam Margera's contract, so don't take everything I'm saying at face value. But what I believe, based on what I've seen and based on how I've heard Robert Garcia talk about potential matchups for Bam's career, it would seem to me that his ancillary rights have been signed over to Mr. Honda Tekken Promotions. Now, if you guys don't know what ancillary rights are the rights to license a fighter's fights and promote them. And just that's the actual technical term. Like if you read a fight contract, when a fighter signs a promotional agreement, you're signing over, in most cases, your ancillary rights. So I think Bam Rodriguez I think Mr. Honda definitely has a big say-so on what goes on in his career, which is why I don't quite understand when I hear Robert Garcia say that Bam is a free agent just because his matchroom contract is up. Like, to me, if you're still Mr. Honda, you're not really a free agent. You understand? Like, by the way, Nakatani is fighting real competition in December. That could ruin the Inoue versus Nakatani plan. I'm all for it. I'm honestly all for it because, truth be told, as much as I like Inoue Nakatani and as great as it would be to go to Japan for a couple months and get you guys great content, I want to see Inoue at featherweight. That Inoue, the number one fight I want to see in boxing in any weight class is Angelo Leo versus Naoya Inoue. That fight is very personal. A lot of y'all don't think we could beat Naoya Inoue, so I want to show the world that everybody's wrong and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and we're gonna dissect Inoue. I want that fight real badly. That being said, it's not even just an Inoue Nakatani thing. Like, I hate when fights get marinated and everyone's like, yeah, these fighters are on a collision course. Like, man, fuck your collision course. Like, I love when the B-side ruin fights, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. The Mexican kid that Nakatani's fighting can punch. Junto better not get caught. Otherwise, it's curtains for him. In my opinion, yeah, I think Jorge Sebastian Hernandez, that's his name. I feel like he's a real threat to Junto. That to me is, objectively speaking, the best fight on the card. The fight I'm most excited about on that card is Kenshiro Taraji versus Walter Garcia, but that's because I'm the president of the Kenshiro Taraji American Fanboy Club. I love Kenshiro. But Junto versus Hernandez, that's a dangerous fight. Like, they're giving Inoue the cupcake. They're giving him Picasso. Picasso's a good little fighter, but he ain't nothing to worry about. He'll beat him. But, man, they gave Junto this guy. I know he's not as big of a name as Picasso, but he's really punching like that. So we'll see. Oh, for real? I didn't know that. Manny Pacquiao's over here getting as Genghis Khan on. He's got illegitimate sons boxing. That's crazy. I agree. It is interesting. He hasn't fought a Japanese fighter yet. With Bam's personality, I think he could gain a following in Japan, and I also think Nakatani Inoue is more wanted. So he's got that going for him. Yeah, man. Bam, I think, really could be a massive star in Japan. They have an appreciation for boxing. unlike most places I've been to, in fact, unlike any place I've been to, they have a real appreciation for boxing there. So I think Bam will be big over there. Yeah, he hasn't fought a Japanese fighter because of Mr. Honda. And people hate when I say that. Like I had someone tell me, like, they said, BT, you blame Mr. Honda for everything. You probably blame Mr. Honda for the United States bombing Hiroshima. But I wouldn't say these things if he didn't have so much control. He had a lot of control, guys. Like, you guys have. I could describe it to you. I could sit here and I could describe it to you until the cows come home. How much control Mr. Honda has over Japanese boxing. But I've been to Japan and I've dealt with fighters, more than one, that have had to deal with Mr. Honda and Tekken Promotions. And so that's given me an even deeper insight into what it's really like and the control he really has over boxing over there. Because you got to remember, in other countries and in Japan, there's no Muhammad Ali Act. So your promoter could be your manager at the same time. So if your promoter could be your manager at the same time, it means they have a lot of control. So it's common sense. But shout out to everybody here. Rock with me, it's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. This is, in fact, my live for the day. So make sure you guys hit the like button so this live gets pushed out to as many people as possible. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel and you like the content. Definitely super chat, and definitely, if you like what's going on and you want to support the channel, the Cash App is there, PayPal is there. We appreciate it. Good to see everybody here. And I want to know too, like, where is everybody from? What city, what state, what continent? Where are you guys from? I want to see how international we are on today's broadcast. A man, New Era Boxing and Bets TV says that was a gem you just dropped. What gem? What did I say? I say a lot of things. So I get on fire about boxing, so sometimes I can't remember things I said 2 minutes ago. What did I say that makes you say that? Ernest Johnson, longtime viewer, he says boxing has to do better by the fighters. I agree, but it's not like that, man. It's not really the promoters' jobs to do better by the fighters, as cruel as that may sound. That's why I always say a fighter is only as good as his team. It's the team's job. It's the team's job. It's the manager's job. The people that are with the fighter on a day-to-day basis, it's their job. And if they don't do their job, then the fighter gets fucked. So it is what it is there. Indonesia in the building. We got Antarctica in the building. Waterbury, Connecticut in the building. The Pocono Mountains in the building. Hampton, Virginia. Yeah. See, like, we think that everywhere is like America because we just deal with talking about boxing in America. But like me, I got like a different take on boxing because I've experienced boxing in other countries like Nicaragua, England, and Japan. And what I could say is that they don't know what a Muhammad Ali Act is like in most countries. That's an American thing. And in Japan, man, they would prefer if the promoter was the manager, because in most cases, and I've said this many times, I'll say it again, in most cases, your boxing gym, the chairman of your boxing gym, that's your promoter and your manager. So like boxing gyms will get dates for fights, and whoever owns that gym, that's the guy also guiding your career. So of course there's positives to this and there's negatives to this, but yeah, Tokyo, Japan. Shout out to my man out in Tokyo, Japan. I can't wait to go to Japan again. I'm counting down the months to go to Japan. I'm counting down the months. Cleveland, Ohio, the home of Abdullah Mason. Shout out to Cleveland. Shibuya. I've had some great nights in Shibuya. I can't wait to go back to Shibuya. Can I talk about Indonesian boxing? Well, to tell you the truth, Cheyo, I don't really know shit about Indonesian boxing, so you might got to put me on game. I only know I know one fighter from Indonesia, and I met him when I was in Japan. A fighter by the name of Kalros Ong. I think he's like 3-0 or 4-0. I met him when he was training at a Misako boxing gym. But that's it. My knowledge of Indonesian boxing is just of this kid named Kalros Ong, who's a prospect. Who do you got in the Suboi versus Quadras? They are moving Tomoya Suboi really fast. I made a video about that fight that'll be out soon on the channel. But good fight. What's really intriguing about Tomoya Suboi and Carlos Quadras is that Tomoya Suboi has only had 2 professional fights, and he's only boxed 12 rounds in the pros. But he has a lot of amateur experience. AIBA World Gold medalist, all that good stuff. Quadras has like 50 fights, and he's had 307 rounds in the pro. So the professional experience is very, very wide. So what the matchmaking tells me is that the powers that be, they believe in Tomoya Suboi. They believe that he has the goods to go ahead and go all the way and become a world champion by his 4th professional fight. Now, it's worth noting that Suboi is currently ranked in the bantamweight division. Suboi is moving down in weight to flyweight to fight Quadras. Quadras is the number 2 ranked WBC contender. So a win here for Suboi gets him in prime position to fight for a world title. And that title could go vacant if Bam Rodriguez decides to vacate, if he is to defeat Puma Martinez and move up to 118. So he could be fighting for a world title in the first quarter of 2026. So I think he will be Quadras. Quadras, I watched some film on him recently. This isn't the Quadras from 2016. His legs aren't there anymore. But he will throw a lot of punches. So Suboi has to make sure he keeps a tight defense and just keeps the basics going. And I think he'll outpoint him. Watching from Sweden. What's up, BT? Hey, shout out to Sweden, man. I want to go to Sweden. I really want to go to Sweden. Sweden's one of those countries I want to go to. I've met a couple people from Sweden before because, growing up in South Florida, you meet like a lot of people from different backgrounds. And I met some pretty Swedish girls before. They got some pretty women from Sweden. So shout out to you, champ. Shout out to Sweden. And they make great hockey players too. BT, will it be easier for you to reach out to people in Japan in the future with the facts that you helped Yugo Osaki a lot in this training camp? I don't know, man. I feel like, that should be the case. But I don't know. Hopefully the powers that be just let my boy Yuga eat and let him fight and let him be great. Like I feel like they're trying to hold him back and not let him be all that I know he's capable of being in the sport. I spent more time with him than anybody on earth for 44 days, and I was in the Bay Area, so I know Yuga really well. Like he's a top fighter. Did your boy Otar fight again this year? What about a fight with Otar and Angelo at 130? That don't make no sense right now because Otar doesn't really bring any money to the table, and I don't think it's realistic, to be honest with you. Funny enough, though, Otar was offered to be a sparring partner for the Bernardo Lopez camp, and he politely turned it down. So that's a fun fact there. But no, I don't think he winds up fighting Angelo. But he fought, to answer your question, I think he fought recently. He fought. Let me go check my boy Otar. Hopefully, I want to see Otar really get in the mix because he should have been a world champion already. But fight game is tough. It's not as simple as just getting the fights. Yo, Otar just fought last month. He fought last month and got a knockout. So he's had 2 wins in the last 2 months. So he's right there. He's right there to have a great 2026. If Collazo and Tadro have their fight confirmed, who would you choose? Oh my God. You see now, that's a pick'em fight. Like, I'm not really comfortable picking either way. I'll hedge and I'll lean slightly towards Oscar Collazo just because I think he can do a little bit more in the ring. But Pedro Tadron is no joke. He's as serious as a heart attack. I was there. I was in Japan when he fought Jinjiro Shigioka, and I saw him beat the dog shit out of Jinjiro Shigioka. So yeah, because that fight was on the undercard of Angelo versus Kameda out there in Osaka. And I remember being in the dressing room watching it on the monitor and then going out to go watch it out in the crowd. And he's no joke. He's no joke at all. Angel Diaz, good to see you, champ. Better late than never. I'll be here for like 20 more minutes, and then I'm gonna dip. So, I already said what I needed to say about Vergil. I was telling these people that if Vergil and Boots keep marinating this damn fight, they're gonna marinate, and they're gonna look up and they're gonna see Xander Zayas as the undisputed champion because he's not wasting time. He's getting right to the title fight, right to the unifications. Salute BT. Devin is going to feel the bricks. Damn right. Brian Oman Jr. 7 less. In fact, since you brought it up, now I gotta play it. This is what Brian Oman Jr. has for Devin Haney come November 22nd. He got this right here.
But we ain't looking for the decision.
Correct.
We got the judge. And I think that's from the jury. Which one? No, that's the jury. That's the jury. It's the judge, right? I'm trying to figure out which one was which.
Yeah.
Hey, they twins, so I get them mixed up sometimes. I have to look at the skull. I have to look at the individual skull. He's like a birthmark.
Yeah.
So I look at the individual skull and tell them apart. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, now we got
the judge and the jury. That's what's coming for Devin Haney coming November 22nd. I can't wait. That's one of the fights that really has me up, really excited. So we'll see how it goes, man. A lot of people are picking Devin Haney. A lot of people feel like Devin Haney gonna outbox Brian Oman Jr. I don't see it, but if he does, full credit to him. But a star will be born come November 22nd. I can't wait. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel, Angel. I feel like they're late. They're late already. Xander is gonna be halfway to undisputed by the end of the first month of 2026. It's gonna be crazy. BT, who wins Xander versus Barrow? I got Xander. He's moving the most like a champion, going straight into a unification fight after winning a title and being apt to try to fight anyone within his reach. Because he's from South Florida, man. I told you guys, man. We don't duck no smoke in South Florida, So he's doing his thing. I'm excited. I'm excited for him. I think he beats Barrow. Barrow is not no pushover. I don't want to overlook Barrow, and I don't want to act like it's a foregone conclusion because there's no foregone conclusions in boxing. But I just think based on what I've seen from Barrow and based on the development Xander's had over the duration of his career, I just feel like, you know what? Xander Zayas is going to outpoint him. His combination of reach, counter punching, timing. I think it's enough to get by a guy like Barrow. But if Barrow wins, oh my God, then you know what? Everyone who thinks Xander's overrated, you can have your fun. I will not be surprised in late 2026 if Ramos and Bad Bunny with Top Rank make a push for Terrence Crawford versus Xander Zayas in undisputed at 160. Fuck it, Fundura Ducks. Listen, man, people don't understand. Like, Xander's about to become unified. He has a chance to become unified champion. His star power is getting up there. With Bad Bunny in his corner, I'm telling you guys, if y'all don't know about the star power of Bad Bunny, then you must be under a rock. All Bad Bunny got to do is just mention him in a song. Get him in a music video, some shit. And Xander Zayas is going to be the A side of everybody. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you straight away right now. Bam versus Kenshiro. Who do you got if they both win the respective fights? Listen, I hope it's Kenshiro. That's my guy. I'm going to be cheering my ass off for Kenshiro. I'm going to go to that fight. If they fight, I'm going to go to that fight. I'm going to bring my Kenshiro banner to the fight. That yellow banner you see right there that Kenshiro gave me, I'm going to bring it to the fight and go crazy for my boy Kenshiro. But honestly, objectively, I think that Sego Yuri Akui fight it did a lot to Kenshiro. I think he's lost. I think he's still good. He's not washed up, but he's lost enough of a step for me to say, yeah, he's not beating Bam right now. Now, they would have fought before Sego Yuri Akui, I would talk a lot differently, but that's not the case. What I can also say is this, and it's a big if, but if Kenshiro can find a home for that straight right hand, listen, man, Bam already got his jaw broken by Christian Gonzalez. I think Kenshiro could break Bam's jaw, but that's probably not going to happen. But I hope it does. I really, really hope it does because, man, if Kenshiro beat Bam and became undisputed, oh my God, you guys might see me cry. That's one of my favorite fighters. That's been one of the fighters that's kept my love for boxing alive when I hated this shit. So I always love that. I always love Kenshiro. The way Kenshiro is gonna lose to Bam will break many hearts. Yeah. Hopefully, listen. I'm just hoping he puts up a good fight and does his thing. But the fight will happen because they know he's lost enough of a step. Bakram Murtazaliev, I think he cleans out 154. In order for him to do that, Edward, that would insinuate that guys are actually going to go ahead and fight him. And right now, it seems like it's like pulling teeth. Like these guys don't want to fight Bakram Murtazaliev. They don't want no smoke with Bakram because they say, oh, he don't bring enough money to the table. He's not this, he's not that. So we'll see. You know what? That's a good fight. I like that fight. I don't know if they want to do that fight though. Yo, Seiya Tsutsumi is not like if you're a promoter and you're trying to prevent your guy from getting damaged, you don't put him in and go to a guy like Seiya Tsutsumi. Seiya Tsutsumi, win, lose, or draw, you're gonna get some damage. I mean, this is a guy that shifts a lot. You know, there's a big potential for head clashes. That's a guy in Seiya Tsutsumi who really and truthfully like. He gets stronger as the fight goes on. You know, we don't got to glorify what happened in the Kazuki Yanaguchi fight, but for those of us who watched that fight or know about that fight, we know like it's a serious thing. And so, I mean, you could do that fight, but I don't know if they want to go that route. Shout out to my boy Johnny at the Florida Panthers Knights game. I had tickets to go. I gave them to him because I'm not in Vegas, but he said these dudes won't let the Panthers fans on the floor to see the shoot around. I'm shocked. That's messed up, bro. You just gotta go. Just go down. Walk to another section and just don't even stop. Just walk past the security guards. Just walk. Go and if they block you, go to the next section and just do it again until you'll get down eventually. Bakram has the advantage on Tim because he was a style mismatch and no one knew him. No one will make that same mistake anymore. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I've seen people say that Josh Kelly is going to beat Bakram Murtazaliev. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. That sounds crazy. Like I've seen Josh Kelly. I've seen Josh Kelly go ahead and get the brakes beaten off him by David Avanesyan. Josh Kelly's not no master boxer. He gets hit a lot. I don't see it, man. I really don't. So, shit. We'll see how it goes. Golden Jack almost beat Bakram. Real Jack Koke. Listen, Jack Koke almost beat Andrade. He almost beat Abbas Barrow. Like Jack Koke, people like to downplay fighters when they have these hard fights against Jack Koke, but Jack Koke gives a lot of guys tough fights. He's just one of them guys. No, Josh Kelly is getting folded in about 6 rounds. He's not getting past the 6th round. He's gonna get absolutely pulverized. Like when he gets beat up by Bakram, not only do I think Bakram's gonna beat the hell out of him, I think it's gonna be an early contender for knockout of the year. Josh Kelly don't got nothing for Bakram Murtazaliev. People can say he's a hype job, but sometimes you gotta, just because you don't think highly of someone doesn't mean you gotta disrespect them. You know? Jack Koke is the only loss on Abbas Barrow. That's right. He beat him, right? Hold on, let me see. He beat him. I keep thinking did he beat him? I know it's close, but like nobody really ever beats Koke definitively. It's very rare. You're probably right though. Let me see. Yeah, shit, he did. So yeah, he beat one of the current champions. He gave Andrade a tough fight. He's given a lot. Listen, Jack Koke's given a lot of people hell through the years. Bakram as well. What up, BT? What's good, champ? Hope all is well. I'm getting my last 10 minutes in, and I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my night and watch the Florida Panthers against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I'm gonna go watch paint dry. Didn't Josh Kelly get hurt in the last round against Ishmael Davis? Yes, he did. You're 100% correct. Like Kelly is barely he's barely an elite European level fighter. So I mean, he ain't being Bachram. But if he do, then full credit to him. I used to really like Josh Kelly when he was fighting those cans early in his career. If y'all really followed his career early on, when Josh Kelly was fighting those cans in Sunderland and he was hitting these dudes with like 7 left hooks in a row like Roy Jones Jr. Shit, I like Josh Kelly. I remember when I first found out who Jaron Ennis was, and when I really liked Josh Kelly, I used to say stupid shit on this channel like, yeah, Josh Kelly versus Boots is the future fight of the division or something. I used to say some dumb shit, and then you learn and you get better with time about boxing. He did. I just checked it. Yeah, look. I'll show you. Look, Abbas Barrow did beat. Look, so this is Abbas Barrow's box rec, 17-1, 9 KOs. Look. Boy got starched. He got the brakes beaten off of him by not the break. He lost by split decision, but nonetheless, he lost to Jack Colque. So hey, but credit to Abbas Barrow. He didn't let a loss define him. He could have got down. He came back. He became champion. So that shows that Abbas Barrow has a mental fortitude, that he's tough. Like, so that's what I'm saying. You can't just write him off against Xander. You can't just say he's gonna lose to Xander. You don't know. I'd be shocked if Josh Kelly wins. I feel like he's somebody Spence should fight. Yeah. You know what? Why not Josh Kelly? Or I feel like Errol Spence should fight Josh Kelly or Joey Spencer or Eric Salubin or Usima Lima. I feel like those are the 4 fights he has to go after. If he wants to come back and he's serious and get his feet wet again, Joey Spencer, Josh Kelly, Usima Lima, Eric Salubin. Those are the 4 fights that the truth needs to go ahead and target. What you think? Do you think Taiga Imanaga could become a boxing great, or is he overrated? Is he an overrated Ohashi fighter like Yoshiki Takei? I've watched Taiga Imanaga here and there, and he's a good talent. I haven't watched him enough to have that level of an opinion yet on him. So I'm gonna wait a little bit before I make my judgment. Because I haven't watched him enough yet. But what I can say about Taiga Imanaga, because I have a pecking order. Like when it comes to the Japanese fighters, the young fighters, I got a pecking order. For me, for me, best Japanese fighters in the world are Yugo Osaki, number 1. Reito Tsutsumi, you could say is 2, or 1A and 1B could be Yugo Osaki and Reito Tsutsumi. After that, Yuta Sakai from Ohashi Gym. And then after him, even though he hasn't looked great recently, I still got faith in Aoi Yokoyama. I think he's going to mature into a really good fighter. And then, Taiga Imanaga is probably 3 or 4 names after that, Boots pointed right at his watch and said it's time, and then Vergil busted out his watch fixing kit. Yeah, I mean, what's happening with Rico Masuda? I'm pretty sure he's fighting. Rico Masuda, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he's fighting on that Takuma card. Let me double check real quickly. I'm pretty sure he is. That's one of the most fun fighters to watch in Japan. I want to see him fight Kenneth Lovera from the Philippines. I feel like that's one of the best fights in boxing as far as excitement is concerned. Yeah, Rico Masuda is fighting on the Takuma Inoue tension card against Jose Miguel Calderon Cervantes, 14-2 from Mexico. I don't know anything about him, but that's who he's fighting next. So he'll be in action, getting close to that world title. Brilliant fighter, fun fighter to watch. I mean, you know who he is because you know your boxing Cyrus. Yeah, I know his only loss is to Seiya Tsutsumi, who, in my opinion, after Junta Nakatani, of the guys that have been champions recently, I feel like he's the second best Japanese fighter that's been champion. So to lose to him is not a blemish on your record. And when you see what's about to happen to God forbid, but I think Donaire is about to get beaten up real bad by Seiya Tsutsumi. And Cyrus. Rico Masuda's guys left is crazy, I think he's the first fighter in Japan they've given that term to his left hand since Yamanaka. So and it's very applicable to him because when he touches you with that left hand, devastating shit happens to his opponents. I got my dog Takuma versus Tenshin. Hey, do your thing, champ. A lot of people are picking Takuma. I ain't going with Takuma. I'm gonna go with my boy Tenshin. I think people they keep seeing Tenshin as a kickboxer that got his ass up by Floyd. They don't believe in the boxing experience he's got. I think I think he's more athletic than Takuma. I think his boxing skills have improved enough to beat Takuma. Takuma don't punch hard enough to get Tenshin's respect. I think Tenshin's going to beat him and beat him clearly. I don't know why they were putting Nonito in there with a guy who killed a man. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all this. This all started around this time last year because I remember when I was in Japan last year, it came out at the WBA convention last December that Donaire had requested a top 5 ranking and they wanted to fight Seiya Tsutsumi. And I made a video last year and I said, this is a stupid idea. It's a very, very bad idea. And I'm going to say like back in June or July of this year, Rachel Donaire called my phone and she told me, she asked if I could remove a certain video. I forgot which video it was on my channel. And I was like, sure, why not? And it was because they were trying to get a fight with the WBA. And then they wanted fighting Andres. I guess that fight was against Andres Campos. And now they're gonna fight Tsutsumi. So I'm praying for him. As long as Donaire get out the ring safely, that's all I'm happy about. I don't care if he wins or loses. I just want him to get out that ring safe because Seiya Tsutsumi ain't no joke. Takuma getting that southpaw in a way work. Tenshin could never. We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. Everyone's picking Takuma because he's Inoue's brother and all that. But nah, man, y'all gonna respect Tenshin. I just did a video on the fight. Tenshin is not the same fighter that boxed Floyd. He has developed a lot. He's a totally different fighter. He's a way different fighter. Way different fighter. You know, Tenshin has been getting world-class sparring in over the years. Listen, man, I told this story a couple of times. I'll tell it again. Angelo Leo has sparred like 4 or 5 different Japanese fighters. And I asked him one time, I said, hey, Angelo, who was the best Japanese fighter you sparred? Right? Because he sparred some really good Japanese fighters. Like he sparred Subaru Murata a bunch. He sparred a couple other guys that I thought were better than Tenshin. Right? This is a couple years ago I asked him this. Like I'm going to say 3 years ago. And he told me Tenshin. He said Tenshin was the best Japanese fighter I ever sparred. I said, really? He said, yeah. And I'm like, why? He said that he was the best because Tenshin has very good timing and counterpunching ability. He said that was one thing that surprised him about Tenshin. So when he told me that, I started watching Tenshin a little closer, and I just been seeing the improvements. And I feel like, you know what? Nah, y'all, people gotta respect Tenshin. He's a world-class athlete, and he's turning into a world-class fighter. You know. Takuma is going to dishonor the family name, and it's going to be all Inoue's fault for pushing it. Well, then good. The Inoues can't win at everything. Call me crazy. Donaire with that left hook always has a chance. He can still fight, but it's still going to be good. Listen, if his left hook still has any power, which I think it still does, I'm not saying he's completely out of the fight, but however, I can't stop thinking about when he fought Santiago, when he fought Alex Santiago like 2 years ago. Actually, over like 2.5 years ago, damn near. And he kept saying, he said in the post-fight interview, he said, look, I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't pull the trigger. And normally that's what all the old fighters say when they're not supposed to be boxing anymore. So my thing is, if you couldn't pull the trigger 2 years ago against Alex Santiago, who doesn't hit as hard as Seiya, he don't throw as many punches as Seiya, what are you going to do when you're in the 5th, 6th, 7th round and Seiya Tsutsumi is throwing 70 to 90 punches around, shifting orthodox to southpaw in your chest, getting stronger as the rounds go? What you going to do? You know, at this advanced age, I'm like, I respect him. Like, I'll never question Donaire. He's got balls beyond his ankles, but you don't got to do this. Like, you don't got to prove anything. You know, I don't understand why he's doing this. Tension does video game moves that work. How is Takuma supposed to prepare for that? You can't. You can't. I mean, the best thing he could do is just spar his brother, spar Naoya in a way, and just hope that preparation is enough. You know. But I think Tension's determined, and I think Tension wants to show the world that he's on a different level. Like, and he's been saying it like he's declared war on the whole Inoue family. Naoya Inoue, Shingo, the dad, the whole Inoue clan. He wants to smoke with all of them. So, you know, I'm excited for it. I feel like that's a fight that's got the Japanese boxing community on fire because, you know, on Twitter, you know, I follow a lot of the accounts and I get a lot of the people that I see a lot of things that Japanese boxing fans over there are saying, and they seem to be really up for this fight. This fight really seems to have captivated the imagination of Japan. So shit, we shall see how it goes. I'm excited for it. Maybe, but like, I mean, I watched the Campos fight and it ended in a head clash because of a technical decision, and I feel like, you know what, that's a bad sign. Like, you having a hard time controlling distance against guys like Campos now, and you know you're gonna cut easier. I'm telling you, Seiya Tsutsumi right in his chest from the word go. There will 1000% be a head clash in this fight. It's not gonna shock me at all. But maybe. You know, Seiya's been in some wars, so maybe he's older than his age actually is. We'll see how it goes, man. But I just hate the fight. I hate the fight for him. My man said he better keep Inoue's name out of his mouth. LMAO, the monster's different. Listen, if Takuma, I'm gonna get on my Devin Haney shit and start quoting Floyd Mayweather. If Takuma violates, Tension demonstrates. You understand? If Takuma violates, Tension demonstrates. You know, so if he beats him up enough in that fight, Inoue might stay at 122 longer and call out Tension. He might even say, you know what, Junto, you wait a little bit longer. I gotta get this back in blood for my brother. You know. So, you know, when I say that, maybe I should move it to Takuma because I want Inoue to go to. I'm waiting for Naoya Inoue to go to featherweight. Like, I'm tired of him at 122. What percentage chance does Inoue seek revenge if Takuma loses? It all depends on the fashion in which he loses. If it's like a close fight, I don't think he'll seek revenge. But if Inoue goes, if Takuma goes in there and gets bashed up by Tension and Tension starts doing like some Japanese Jaron Ennis shit on him, then it's a wrap. Inoue's gonna say, "Forget you, Junto." He's going to say, forget all that. But you know what? If that was the case, maybe I'm wrong, though, because if that was the case, maybe Inoue would have already tried to fight Seiya Tsutsumi, you know? Yeah, man. Yeah, man, because he might get on some Japanese Jaron Ennis shit and start, you know, circling the ring and, you know, just pivoting, go crazy around him like Boots does to opponents. Like, you don't know. You don't know. Honestly, the Junto fight is big, but I feel like a side mission before you go to 126 for the grand finale. Listen, man, in my mind, 126 the grand finale. It's Inoue's chance to try to become a 5 division champion. He'll become, if he was to win one world title at featherweight, he become boxing's the eighth 5 division champion in boxing history. He would join Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Terrence Crawford, and Oscar De La Hoya, right? He would join that class, right? So it's very important. And then, you know, a lot of people think he can go undisputed. Obviously, I think it's gonna be very difficult for him, and I don't think that's gonna happen. We're gonna stop that. You know, Team Leo gonna stop that, but I can't wait. Johnny says the champs are here. They hate us because they ain't us. That's right. Let them know, Johnny. Johnny. I'm gonna call here in a second because I'm about to end the live here in about a minute or two. But did you get down to shoot around? Did you get down to the seats to shoot around? Japanese Boots. LMAO attention is ghetto. Geta? What do you mean ghetto? I don't know what you mean ghetto. Yo. But guys, look, on that note, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up because I'm gonna get some food and watch this Panthers game here. But and good, Johnny, I'm happy. I knew you would get down eventually. But guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. You guys take care. I'm not sure if I'll be live tomorrow. We'll see what happens in boxing. But y'all go ahead, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys keep supporting the channel. There's plenty of content coming out. A lot of videos, a lot of shorts, all that good stuff, all that blase, and we're gonna keep it going. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, so I'm getting a little close every day, and I'm very excited about that. In a big 2026. But guys, take care. God bless. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dang It. So until next time, take care, guys.